What's good, y'all? Before we before I jump right in and just go over to where we get to the actual showcase, my thoughts and everything, while I was editing the video, I realized, oh shit, I didn't talk about God of War 5, which got announced at the end of the show. And that was another game I was really excited for, so instead of me just like retroactively re-recording some lines and then just shoving it around the app, I thought like, you know what, let me record this little video right here at the start of it before we jump into the main video itself where I go into detail about Final Fantasy 16, miles, and all that shit. And also we didn't really get much, so I don't know how much so that's why another reason I just decided to do it like this. So for God of War 5, we really didn't get nothing other than just the logo and that epic, that godlike music to find in the background because it's so fucking epic. Yeah, obviously I'm excited for this game. Especially looks like this time we're finally gonna be facing Thor after that bullshit cliffhanger. Motherfuckers, fuck you, Santa Monica, for that one. And yeah, I'm really curious on what the story of God of War 5 could be, especially what happened at the end of God of War 4 and some of the reveals we learned about Atreus and everything. So that's definitely another thing I'm really interested in. But mostly, I just want to see Kratos go against Thor. That's what we're all here for. That better be on the cover, that better be all the trailers, not the whole 5, not the whole 5. Leave it. We'll give us some. They'll give us the Santa Monica. Will give us a little tease. Give us a little bit. But yeah, man. And but anyway, guys, with all that being said, enjoy the rest of the video. What's good, y'all? Welcome to my thoughts on the PlayStation 5 showcase that ended a few hours ago, actually. Had some couple of things. I was thinking about doing this right after the air, but I had a couple other things I had to do before I jump right in on this video. So here we are. Now, overall, the showcase was fucking awesome, man. A lot of good games. I was kind of hoping we would see what the next gen NBA 2K20 and 2K21 would look like, because we saw the last showcase when the PS5 initially got announced and everything, but alas, we did not. So that kind of sucks. I was kind of hoping you would see a little bit more gameplay, like how the game would actually kind of look, a better look of it, graphics, gameplay, all that shit, but we did not. But, whatever. Everything else from the showcase made up for that in fucking ladies and gentlemen. So, first off, let's talk about probably the biggest announcement coming out of this, which opened the show, Final Fantasy 16. Holy fuck, this looks awesome, man. Now, I'm shocked that they announced the first new mainline Final Fantasy game. Legit, I didn't get another mainline Final Fantasy game until after the 7 remake was done. I thought until that was done, we weren't going to get another mainline Final Fantasy game. But it looks like we'll be getting a mainline fantasy game along with the additional parts or whatever of the Final Fantasy VII remake, which I'm down for. More Final Fantasy for me. So, now first biggest thing, and one thing I actually found fucking hilarious from this thing is that actually, at the start of it, after they give you the whole, this content might not be appropriate for children and everything, it says the following content is captured on a PC emulating a PS5 experience, which I find that hilarious because no other devs actually do that. You have, Ubisoft is probably the big, I love Ubisoft, but let's be real, they're the biggest, shit, what's the word I'm looking for? Damn it. They're one of the more obvious examples, I guess you could say, of revealing the game, it running on a PC and making the game look 10 times better than what it ends up doing in launch, and of course whatever the phrasing is, but they usually look better when they get announced compared to when the games actually launch, usually because they're running on PCs. So, I found that hilarious that Square actually gave us the heads up and be like, yeah, this is all running on a PC, not on an actual PS5, which I found that to be fucking hilarious. But anyway, the biggest, at first, I didn't even really know what this was. I thought this might have been like some other fantasy game, just another JRPG or whatever. And it wasn't until I started suspecting that was another JRPG from like Square or whatever, but it wasn't until when it started talking about crystals, that I was expecting like this might be a Final Fantasy game. I still didn't think it was going to be a mainline game, even though it's a spin-off. And I was like, no. You guys are probably seeing my reactions. I slowly start to put the piece together of this being Final Fantasy 16. It wasn't until I heard those chords that I knew without a shadow of doubt, this is indeed Final Fantasy. And then right after that, bam, they gave us the title that's Final Fantasy 16. And I just lost my shit because I didn't think we would get another mainline game this soon. Because, I mean, it's been like, what, 5 years since, like 5 years since 15 came out? Which I think that's like the usual time between mainline games, I think. I don't know. But, you know, that's still a pretty decent way between the mainline games, between Final Fantasy 15 and, of course, 6. So, you know, it makes sense. First, one of the biggest surprises I would definitely say after I rewatched the trailers a couple of times, for obviously making this video, after my hype levels had decreased, and I actually looked at the gameplay and started to study it a little bit and like kind of look into it, was that this is actually that we are back to a medieval, you know, fantasy-based Final Fantasy game, which we have not seen, unless I'm wrong, because I haven't played every Final Fantasy game under the sun. We haven't seen a purely medieval era or a Final Fantasy game since Final Fantasy IX back on the PS1. Yeah, so it has been a minute since we last have been to a purely medieval style Final Fantasy, which obviously in turn makes me a little bit more interested in this because we have not seen this in so long. So I'm curious what they're going to do with that in mind, because we haven't, like I said, we haven't seen a medieval Final Fantasy game since the PS1. That was 3 generations ago. That was like damn near 20 years ago. Crazy that it's been that long since we have a purely mainline, at least a mainline fantasy-based Final Fantasy game. So, and I don't know about y'all, I might be talking crazy with it, but is it just me or does anyone think that this game is going to end up going in a lot of ways in the direction of more what Final Fantasy Versus 13 was going to go in before it became 15? Because you guys did not know, Final Fantasy Versus 13 was actually going to be a much darker game than what 15 originally ended up being. And from this trailer, it almost looks like they're going to be going in that direction, a more darker direction, what, like I said, what Versus 13 was originally going to go for. Which, if that's the case, because I mean, you have like a kid over there that gets like blood all over his face. So yeah, this definitely is going to be a bit of a different experience compared to 15, most likely. But yeah, man, that was probably, but that has me curious if they actually do end up going in a more darker direction compared to what 15. Now, I'm not saying 15 wasn't dark. It had its moments around the end. You know, it had those moments, but it wasn't really dark. This feels like it's going to be going more in that direction, at least from this initial trailer, which I'm down for, because I would have liked to see what Versus 13 would have gone with. Because, you know, I'm just fascinated with Versus 13 development, what we saw there. And more, for no other reason, I just wanted Stella in the game. I thought Stella was so cool. I was so pissed off they got rid of her, man. And I mean, Luna was fine, but come on, Stella was cool. We all wanted to see Stella. Let's be real. But, anyway. But yeah, man, this game just looks absolutely fantastic. Now, we also saw a bit of combat. I wouldn't say so much actual gameplay, but we have some of the combat looks like. Obviously, that's definitely very much inspired to what we saw with real-time combat in Final Fantasy 15 that got improved upon the 7 remake. Now, in the comments, actually, on at least the version of it on PlayStation. Now, I don't know if this is true or just some dude talking out of his ass, but I'll put the comment up here on screen. It said that apparently the DMC5 combat director left to work at Square Enix for a new project, and it looks like it's gonna be this game because. Look, after I saw that and I watched the footage, the combat definitely looked very DMC5-ish, at least from what I saw. So that's very interesting if that's the case. So I'm definitely curious about how the combat's going to turn, because I thought the combat 15 was great from the demo of the 7 remake, because I haven't played the full game yet. It was also great. I loved how it felt. And yeah, man, it looks like 15 is going to be going back, or not 15, 16 is going to be going. And also, can we discuss how fucking sexy that logo is, man? Like, oh, that is one sexy logo. That is one sexy Final Fantasy logo, man. I'm curious if this game's gonna be like 15, where the logo that you get at the start of the game ends up changing after you beat it, like 15 did. I'm curious if they're gonna do that with the logo for 16. I mean, I don't really care if they do it either way, because this logo is fucking sick. But that would be interesting if they actually do that direction again. And did we get a release date for this actually? But first off, one thing that we did actually end up learning is that indeed this game will be a PS5 console exclusive, which I'm sure is going to make some people salty. So allow me to give you a history lesson on Final Fantasy, because I know there's going to be some people that are claiming, like, oh, why isn't a console exclusive to PlayStation? 15 was on the Xbox. Well, first of all, allow me to educate you. Final Fantasy started off as being a Nintendo exclusive back on the NES all the way up to 6 on the Super Nintendo. 7 was originally going to be an N64 exclusive, but of course because of the limitations of the hardware and cartridges, that would not be practical. I think the game was supposed to run like 16, if the game did come on N64 with what the game would have been, it would have been on like 16 cards. So they jumped ship to Sony and it became a Sony exclusive all the way up to Final Fantasy. All the way up, no, not Final Fantasy 9. It went all the way up to Final Fantasy 12 was the one when it was a solely PlayStation exclusive. Then starting with 13, they went multi-platform, and now they're going back to their home, where realistically, which is the home of Final Fantasy. Let's be real, the PlayStation. So I don't mind this. If anything, I think it should stay the PlayStation exclusive. If you ask me, because that is Square's home. It is the PlayStation. Ugh. So I got no qualms with it being a PlayStation, although it will also be on PC for you guys that also game on PC. But obviously, I will be picking up the PS5 version whenever this game comes out. I don't believe we got a release date at all for this. So if I had to guess, this game probably won't come out till 2022, late 2021 at the earliest. I'm expecting either 2022 or 2023 is when we'll see the release of Final Fantasy 16. Either way, man, this game looks absolutely fucking fantastic, and I can't wait to see more. It looks great, and I can't wait. Although before actually we end this off, my man Eli Moore actually DM'd me right because I told him that the game because I told him that the game got out like almost right after the trailer finished. There, I was like, oh my god, I got it now! So I lost my shit. And then my man told me, hold on, let me see if I can find it. He said that Final Fantasy 16 looks dry. The game looks unmoisturized. Anyway, so with that all being said, let us move on to the next one, which of course was Miles. Now, for Miles Morales Spider-Man, holy fuck, this game looks fantastic. First off, graphically, I mean, it doesn't look too different from Final Fantasy. Still got Final Fantasy in mind. Final Fantasy 16 was so that good. But from Spider-Man PS4. But I definitely noted, you can definitely notice is where they started using like the ray tracing and everything with like the puddles and everything. The game looks absolutely fantastic. And Miles' suit, because we got a much better look at it, looks fucking fantastic. We also finally got to really start to see Gank in this trailer as well, so that's nice to see him. And I hope that with this game, because we know this is going to be focused on Miles, we will get introduced to Miles' crew of characters. Of course, Gank, maybe Judge might also get introduced as well. But I wouldn't be surprised if I'm just sticking to Gank for right now. And I love Gank; he's cool. So yeah, we find that it looks like Gank actually apparently lives in like Harlem, it looks like. I don't know if I hope Miles is still coming from Brooklyn. I mean, if they end up changing it where now it's from Harlem now, I'm not gonna mind, but come on, my man's from Brooklyn. Like, leave it at Brooklyn. Luke Cage is from Harlem. Come on now. Let them have their own separate sections of New York. Come on, please. But anyway, so one thing that I definitely noticed is that makes the storyline a bit more interesting, mostly just from where it could go, is that we actually see that Miles' mom is actually running for office. She's running for the city council, which you guys can see in the opening section as they're walking around. I think there's like a festival or some shit going on right now, and as they're walking around, you'll notice that there's like these little, like on like some of the tables that they have like Rio Morales from like city council or whatever, which makes me very interested on where the story could end up being. Now, I still don't think the game will go this far into it, considering that the game already had the story and must game development before all this shit happened. But could this end up going into like maybe giving you some commentary or going in and telling a story about what's been going on with like police brutality that's been going on recently? Which you guys remember when the game first got announced. Fucking retarded SGDevs that obviously don't know a damn thing about game development. We're all like, oh, we better talk about police brutality, propaganda, all these fucking retards that obviously don't know that if the game's always been shown, you're getting a release date, that the game was developed, had the story done, everything months before all this shit went down. Fucking retards. But anyway, I digress. But with Miles' mom going into politics, could it end up going in the direction? I still am not going to hold my breath on the game going that far into it, but you might see some seed planted. They might discuss a little bit. I doubt they're going to go that far in depth. I think if Miles ends up getting another standalone game. That's when they'll go full in, because you could tell a very interesting story with Miles and with what's been going on in the world with his dad being a cop, at least in the game, as well as in the Spider-Verse movie. There is a very interesting story you could tell there if done properly, and my God, it has to be done properly for it to work right. But I digress. If the game does end up going that direction, at least a little bit, I'll be intrigued. I don't think it will, but it definitely has my ears perked and my eyes out, has me curious if it will end up going that direction. Like I said, I doubt it. It's probably gonna be more like a backdrop. We might have, where she's like, maybe doing it might be more of a backdrop, but you never know. But some they might decide to start getting crazy, and they might actually end up going that direction. We don't know. We won't know until the game actually comes out. Now, after that, we actually, of course, get to the main gameplay section, which, oh my God, the gameplay. Oh! Just roll the footage of my reaction to the gameplay.
Oh yeah, that's the bridge is coming down. I have to stop this. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
My God, man, this game looks so fucking good. Now, okay, in all seriousness, let's actually dive in. Now, first thing, obviously, you notice is that, yes, that Miles does play similar to how Peter does, but he definitely has his own, like, I guess, movements or whatever. He does play differently enough. He isn't just Peter, with a different costume. You can definitely notice that there's a difference between how Miles is going to play and how Peter played in Spider-Man PS4. Now, I don't know if this is going to make sense to y'all, but it almost feels like, from the gameplay, where the Miles moves a lot more nimble than Peter. Like, it feels more free-flowing-ish. I don't know if any of that makes sense, but that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from Miles. He moves definitely a lot different and almost more, I don't know what the word is, but he moves differently, but he moves more like, I don't know, he's like one with his movements or some shit. I don't know, but either way, whatever you want to call it, Miles looks fucking cool in moving with how he plays and the animations he's got. Of course, we saw a little bit of the invisibility, which looks cool, but probably the biggest thing we saw in this gameplay is the Venom Blast. Holy shit, does this game look like it's gonna make you get some miles out of that motherfucker? Which I approve with, because Venom Blast is probably one of my favorite abilities that Miles has. And I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm gonna be real with y'all. Like I said, I'm not the biggest knowledge when it comes to Miles. Like, I haven't read a lot of his comics. I'm obviously currently reading his current ongoing series right now. But I have never seen Miles use his Venom Blast in as creative ways here than from what I've seen in the comics. Now, whether or not you consider that a good thing or a bad thing, I'll leave that up to you. Either way, the Venom Blast in this game looks fucking fantastic, man. I can't wait to see more of it, whether the skills you can get to like upgraded, like maybe you can raise maybe one where you can get like 5 guards, where it can get like 5 guards at once or some shit. I don't know. Either way, it looks fucking cool. So yeah, man. Miles absolutely looks fucking fantastic. I can't wait to play this game whenever I get my hands on a PS5. God knows when that will be, because I sure as hell am not getting it at launch. Yeah, man. I can't wait to play this. This looks so fucking cool. Oh, this is going to be fucking amazing, man. This is absolutely going to be fucking amazing. So, anyway, without that being said, that's all I really got to say about Miles Morales' Spider-Man. The game looks fantastic. I'm very curious what it's going to do story-wise, especially with, we now know that Miles' mom is going to be going into politics, running for city council or whatever, and Miles plays like a dream, man. From the gameplay, Miles movements are so good. I love what they're doing with the Venom Blast and other attacks and those other abilities Miles has, and I am just overall super excited for this game. Now, we'll just kind of do some rapid fire round or whatever you want to call it for some of the other stuff we get into it. First off, we got announced. There was an announcement of a new Five Nights at Freddy's game. I was shocked to see this get announced because I did think this because I thought after 6 locations the games would be done, but no. Scott Kaufman or whatever the hell the dev's name is has one more game up his sleeve. But hey, it gives me an excuse to go back to watching fucking Game Theory and Markiplier, and I haven't watched those guys in a while. So it gives me an excuse to watch their content again because I like their shit. But anyway, you have that. We also got an announcement for a special edition of DMC5. So for you guys that want to play DMC5 on next gen, there you go. What else? We also got some new gameplay for Deathloop as well. Looks great. I'm really excited for Deathloop. It looks like it's gonna be a really fun game. We finally got an announcement of what the backwards compatibility is going to be for the PS5 with PS4 games, which we know this for a little bit. There's been rumors going now about what the backwards compatibility could end up being, and we now know what it's going to be. It's going to be a select few of the bigger selling PS4 games that you will be able to buy, that you'll be able to play on your PS4. Now, the interesting part about this actually is that it said that it's part of the PlayStation Plus collection. This is a new feature for PlayStation Plus members for the PS5. Now, and a few of the games we did see on there was The Last of Us Remastered, no sign of The Last of Us Part 2, Spider-Man PS4, Final Fantasy VII Remake, or what's another one I'm thinking of? Ghost of Tsushima. Now, granted, most if not all of those games will probably get their own separate remasters, considering they all release a little bit later into the console's lifecycle. So I wouldn't be surprised if if the PS5 gets its own Last of Us Part 2 remaster, Ghost of Tsushima remaster, shit like that. That wouldn't surprise. But a couple of the games we did see was Last of Us Part 1, Infamous Second Son, Bloodborne, a couple other ones. Now it said in the trailer that you just have to download them and start playing. But does this mean that only PlayStation Plus members can have this feature where they can play these PS4 games? Can someone like me who owns some of these games physical media, because I'm gonna get the PS5 with the disc stuff. You think? Because come on, you guys know me, I'm a collector. But does that mean that someone like me who doesn't have PlayStation Plus, can I still play my disc? Can I still pop the disc in onto the PS5 and still play them no problem? That is the one question that they didn't really explain on this, and they didn't really elaborate at all on this. But I'm sure in the coming days and weeks they'll elaborate on this a lot more, and we'll figure out how this is actually going to work. I hope that it means that even if you don't have PlayStation Plus, you can still play these games if you still have the discs or whatever. Or if you bought the games already on your PSN account. I'm hoping that's the case for me, because otherwise it's kind of bullshit if you ask me, if it's only exclusive to PlayStation Plus members to play these games, even though I have them on, I have the disc or whatever. So we'll have to wait and see on that, how that's going to work. We also got announced a new Hogwarts video game, which I was shocked to hear. Now, I myself love Harry Potter. I love the movies as a kid. I've been really digging the Fantastic Beasts films. And this looks like it's going to be like its own original story. You create your own character, and you just kind of go through your life in Hogwarts. Which, hey man, I like the sound of that. I'm not saying I'm the biggest Harry Potter guy out there, but I am a fan of this series. So I'm definitely a bit more interested in this game for that reason alone. Now, one of the bigger questions is, are we going to see any cameos from the other Harry Potter cast members? Are we going to see Hermione in there, Ron, Harry? Are we going to see any characters from the Fantastic Beasts films make appearance? Will they be voiced by their original actors? Now that would be cool if we end up getting some cameos from some of the original cast members, or maybe even some of their kids from what we saw at the end of Deathly Hallows Part 2. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on how all that unfolds. But I'm definitely very interested in this game because it looks really, really cool. We also got some gameplay from the campaign of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Holy fuck, that game looks amazing. I'm gonna be real, I haven't really been that interested in COD for years now. But yo, this looks fucking cool. I am definitely very excited for this game. I'm obviously gonna be playing the open beta or alpha whenever that drops. I believe on Friday is when it starts, so you guys will probably see me streaming it a little bit. And yeah, man, this game looks fucking awesome. I haven't been this hyped for a COD game since, Jesus, Modern Warfare 3 when I was a kid, because I thought, oh my god, this game looks so cool when I saw it at E3 or whatever. Like, oh my god, this game looks so fucking cool. So it's been a minute since I've really paid attention to COD, really been excited by anything. But yeah, man, this game looks sick. This game looks sick. Obviously, we also got some more gameplay from the Demon Souls remake, which actually, a fun fact, you guys, I think I meant this is my reaction, but when I was watching the trailer when it first aired on the live stream, I at first thought that that this was actually going to be a remake for Eco. You know, that PS2 game that was from the same devs that did the Shadow of Colossus and the Lost Guardian? Because I saw the Japan Studios logo, and then I saw the Blue Point Team, which I believe those are the same devs behind the remake for the Shadow of the Colossus. So I thought, and the game kind of looked a little similar from at least the opening, but once the Knight showed up, and I also completely forgot Demon Souls was even getting a PS5 remake, but once I saw it now, I was like, oh right, Demon Souls, it's getting a remake! Dumbass. But yeah, I'm not into the Soul games at all. That ain't my cup of tea. My brother loves that game and actually got him into Berserk. Funny enough. But, yeah, the game looks fucking fantastic, man. Like, yo, this game looks really fucking good on PS5. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, so for you all you Soul guys out there, y'all are gonna be eating good. I think that's about everything, at least for the games I actually care about to talk about that we got announced. We also got some extra, we also got a little bit more from Resident 6, from Resident 8. Now, I don't know if this means anything, but actually, Albert Wesker's VA, DC Does, I follow him on Instagram. And I believe yesterday, the day before, on his story, he was doing a little Q&A. And people were, because Chris Redfield was in the trailer, everyone's asking, oh, is Wesker going to be in the game? Is Wesker going to be in Resident Evil 6? And I don't know if he was just fucking with us, or if he was like trying to drop some clues, but from how he was talking about it, it made it seem like he was alluding to that Albert Wesker might be in the game, but at the same time, he could just be fucking with us. So, I don't know if that means anything, but we might see Albert Wesker in 8. I don't know. But yeah, man, that's about everything I have to say on this. Overall, it was fantastic. Looked great. Yeah, man, like, I am really... Oh, we also, of course, got the prices. I guess I should talk about those real quick. Pre-orders are actually live right now, actually, as we speak. As well as tomorrow is when they're going to start from the rest of the sites. But actually, Best Buy is still doing pre-orders right now on the day of this recording, which is on September 16th. The Best Buy, you can still get them for both versions on Best Buy. They're still up for pre-orders. So if you guys want to get those pre-orders, y'all better get up on them now, because God knows it's going to be hard starting tomorrow. So I'll leave a link to I'll leave a link to the Best Buy links for you guys that want to buy them then, as well as a Eurogamer article that will give you links to other websites that will be offering pre-orders, at least for right now, today. Because starting tomorrow, that's when the pre-orders are really going to start from like Amazon and all the other places. But yeah, pre-orders are live right now. So yeah, y'all better get on that if you guys did not already. You guys probably won't see this video up till the 17th, but in case I end up getting it on the 16th, just wanted to give you guys a heads up. Yeah, that's about everything. We got the prices: $400 for the PS5 with the disc drive, $300 for the digital edition. I was hoping Sony would give me $450 for the disc drive to undercut Microsoft, but alas, that is not the case. They're both $500 for the PS5 and the Series X. Yeah, man, and I believe the dates were November 12th for the US, Canada, Japan, a few other countries, and then 19th for the rest of the world. So yeah. Anyway, guys, yeah, so tell me down below what you guys thought about what you thought of the showcase. If you love it, you hate it, what are some games you're hyped for? What are the games you're excited for? Are you guys going to be picking up a PS5 day one? If you did, which version did you pick? Get the disc version, please. Fuck digital. It's not the future. But anyway, you know, whatever you prefer, and says if you guys know me, I'm a collector. Anyway, I've rambled on long enough. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, for like, links on the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.